WKL World Tour headed to idyllic Gouna, Egypt for the Gouna RRD Center Kiteboarding World Cup, hosting the best freestyle kiteboarders on earth for a sensational event that kicked the season into high gear. Gouna started as one man's dream to find the most beautiful and pristine spot of coastline along Egypt's Red Sea shores. That dream has since come to fruition as Gouna has evolved into a diverse resort community that is one of the world's most unique getaway locations, with magnificent sandy beaches, clear blue waters, and a mountainous backdrop that mixes romance, adventure, and stunning scenery all in one. Gouna is a perfect venue for all kinds of water sports, as well as golfing, a beautiful marina, and a quaint and unique town center that has the feel of a country resort getaway. But if there's one thing that defines Gouna above all else, it's the kiteboarding. This is one of the world's best kiteboarding locales with excellent stable winds, flat waters, and warm temperatures. An ideal location for round 4 of the 2017 WKL Kiteboarding World Tour.
I'm so excited to start tomorrow. I have a high expectation because the conditions are just great here and the wind is steady and the water is really flat and there's a lot of kiters, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of spectators on the beach watching us.
It's the 4th event of the year, and Spanish rider Liam Whaley leads the men's world standings ahead of last year's world champion Carlos Mario of Brazil, with his fellow Brazilian Seix Teixeira third after outstanding performances through the year. Former world champions Yuri Zun, Aaron Hadlow, and Alex Pastor are also in the mix, making for a talent-packed field.
Yeah, it's good to be back here in Gouna. Looks like it's going to be an interesting competition. I see that there's a lot of talent here, so it's going to be a tough one. But yeah, I'm going to try to do my best and have a good result.
In the women's, last year's world champion Bruna Kajia continues to dominate the field, but she has to contend with some big talent in the form of Annabelle van Westerop, Akiaka podium placer Rita Arnaus, new Italian sensation Francesca Bagnoli, and the likes of PAULA Novotna and Teresa Tabo. The draw has all the makings of a classic.
I expect to have a really good competition. I've been training a lot in Brazil to come here, and I have all my tricks really well, so hopefully I can put up a good show.
In the Men's Elite League, the top 2 of each of the 4 heats in round 1 would go directly through to round 3, while the remaining riders would all get a second chance for a round 3 slot in round 2. In the first day of Elite League competition, the wind was up, and although it was erratic throughout the day, the heats were raced without pause. The big surprise in the men's round was the dismal last place finish of former world #1 Spaniard Alex Pastor. Heat 2 was all about Carlos Mario, whose lowest scoring trick was 9.5, considering riders are scored over the best 4 of 7 tricks. There was another surprise in Heat 4 of the men's, where former world champions Yuri Zun and Liam Whaley were outclassed and beaten by youngsters Aduri Corniel of the Dominican Republic and Swiss talent Maxime Chablot, who went directly into round 3, forcing Zun and Whaley to compete for a round 3 spot in round 2. The surprises continued unabated in round 2, where Yuri Zun crashed out of the competition in Heat 5, beaten by 2 French riders, Arthur Gilbert and Valentin Garat. The big names and favorites in the Men's Elite League found their rhythm by round 3, although there were still some surprises left. In Heat 9, Seix Teixeira nabbed first place on his last trick, but former world champion Aaron Hadlow of the UK was eliminated in Heat 11. The most exciting heat of round 3 was the very last one. Valgarat was looking for a place in the semis, knocking out a brilliant 9.13 KGB7. But Dominican aces Aduri Corniel and Luis Alberto CRUZ rose up to the challenge and claimed the 2 semi-final spots at Garat's expense. With the end of round 3, the Men's Elite League semi-final lineups were decided. Now on to the ladies. In the Women's Elite League Round 1, the winners of each of the 4 heats would go directly through to the Round 3 semis, while the remaining riders would get another shot at a semi-final place in Round 2. Rita Arnaus tried to keep up with Paula Novotna until the end in Heat 3, but it was Novotna who'd finished first with her final trick, an exceptional 9.13 kgb. Vera Clabbers also gave it her all in Heat 4, showing everyone that she's a true contender as she went toe-to-toe with world number 1 Bruna Kajia right to the end, giving the Brazilian an early scare. In round 2, the fight for the last 4 semi-final spots continued, and there was a big upset as the previous round's podium placer in Akyaka, Rita Arnaus, got knocked out by Danish talent Teresa Tabel and local rider Natalie Lambrecht. With the end of round 2, the Women's Elite League semi-final lineup was complete. In the first women's semi-final, Heat 7, gusty conditions proved a challenge, affecting the normal performance of riders Lambrecht, Tabel, Bagnoli, and Van Westerop, who vied for the finals. Teresa Tabel made a good start with a blind judge. Francesca Bagnoli also produced a scoring start on the same trick. Local rider Natalie Lambrecht found the conditions a little tough going, unable to turn them to her advantage, and she struggled to keep up with the more experienced riders. Meanwhile, Annabelle Van Westerop brought her experience to bear, reading the conditions well to get the same decent back-to-back points on her 3rd, 4th, and 5th tricks, the best of them being a 7.03 back to blind. That gave her the lead. It was down to the final tricks to see who would advance to the finals alongside Van Westerop. Tabel went for it, but it was another crash. Her chances were fading fast. She needed Bagnoli to crash out as well if she was to stay in the running. It was Bagnoli's final attempt, and she did it. A slim 5 does it for the Italian. Van Westerop and Bagnoli are the first finalists of the Gouna RRD Center Kiteboarding World Cup.
You know, it was hard out there, and to start the day, you know, you haven't been able to look at any heats before, so you really need to figure out what to do, which kite to use, and yeah, this heat was very tough, so I went really safe, and I'm really glad I managed to come out on top.
My heat maybe was one of the worst I ever done. I had a good start with 2 good tricks, but then I had 4 crashes. At the end I decided to do an S-mob and it paid off.
In the second semi-final, Heat 8, the wins had regained their consistency as last year's top new talent, Pauline Valesa, joined her fellow French rider Maureen Castel, Czech rider Paula Novotna, and Brazilian world number 1 Bruna Kajia for the 2 remaining final spots. Novotna and Kajia both got their Heat 8 campaigns off to a roaring start. 9.4 heart attack. Kajia said bring it on as she rose to the Novotna challenge with an incredible 9.63 on the same trick. Both Castel and Valesa failed to find the points, and it was an easy path to the final for Novotna and Kajia, who guaranteed the top 2 spots with more tricks in hand. But Novotna seemed not content with a final spot, going for the heat win as she locked horns with Kajia. It was a thrilling showdown for both the spectators gathered on the beach and those watching the live broadcast from home. Kajia needed another big result if she was to take the heat win. A back to blind from Kajia. It's good, it's very good, 7.93. Kajia wins the heat, beats Novotna, and sails through to the final. Bruna Kajia and Paula Novotna complete the Women's Elite League final lineup.
incredible double heart attack. Aderi Corniel is pushing for a place on the podium.
Well, we know he's got all the tricks in the bag and he can pull it out at any time.
Aderi Corniel is definitely one of those riders to watch for the future.
I've competed against his brother a few times in the past and he used to put up some stiff competition. It's great to see the Corniel name back here in the competition.
I was too small to go to the beach and I just wanted to go. All my brothers are kiters, but my mother and my father, they were a little bit afraid with these things. And I had some friends, you know, and they're the same age as me, you know, they were both, all of us, we were young, and then we just went to the beach. We helped some tourists. We thought that if we helped them with the board, they could let us the kite, but it was not like this. They just gave us some tips, something like this. And in this time, my brother just saw me and he said to me like, okay, I'm gonna teach you kiting, you know? You want to go to the water? In my mind, I was like so happy, but in outside I was scared, you know? And then I just went kiting. I just stand up right away in the board. Everything was was good. And from there, start like my experience about kiting. I found a manager, a good guy from Spain, Fuerteventura. He just said to me, get ready because we almost gonna leave to Fuerteventura. And then I just said to my mother, like, without this, I cannot go out from Dominican Republic. Because in Dominican Republic, it's too difficult to have a support from other persons. Everything was good, like, was not bad, but I was not having the good level to compete with a professional. And then I was training. After in 2016, luckily, you know, they bring the World Tour to DR, and I was feeling like, I'm gonna do it for sure here. That's gonna be my chance to grow up. And I get fourth. And I said to my brother, like, this is a dream, you know, it's coming up. I want to be a professional because right now I'm just getting to be a professional. I want to be in the league of the professional all the time. I want to be on top.
Pressure means nothing to this man. Expect to see this young Dominican on the podium at future events.
The Men's Elite League semifinals were virtually a final in themselves, featuring 3 former world champions and an up-and-coming champion in the making in the first of the semis, Heat 13. Alex Pastor and Liam Whaley up against the Brazilian powerhouses Carlos Mario and Sesh Teixeira.
I'm definitely feeling good. It's definitely a tough semi-final, yeah. It's the Brazilians against the Spanish. Let's see who comes up on top. I mean, I'm going to give it my all. I know it's a hard heat, but I always have high expectations, so hopefully I can come first and second and make it to the final.
Carlos Mario was having one of his best events ever so far, and he continued his phenomenal form with an intimidating 9.4 Heart Attack 7 to kick things off. By the second trick, current world standings leader Liam Whaley started to put pressure on the world champion with an 8.83 backside 317, the Spaniard taking the lead as Carlos Mario succumbed to a rare crash. Pastor and Teixeira started to find their rhythm as well by their fourth tricks, both going for a slim 7, Pastor scoring 7.77, Teixeira 7.5. As Whaley crashed his third and fourth tricks, Carlos Mario seized the chance to reclaim the lead with a stunning 9.2319. As Whaley tried to get back in the game with a 7.27 frontline mob, Sesh Teixeira also produced a solid 7.03 double heart attack to stay in the running. Meanwhile, Alex Pastor was struggling to stay in it, but a good slim 7 and a KGB kept his hopes up. Liam Whaley's 8.17 score off a 317 bounced him back up into second position above Teixeira, who was feeling the pressure, and he crashed out. As his fellow Brazilians struggled, Mario went from strength to strength, bettering his last score with a near-perfect 9.93 KGB7, which guaranteed the heat win. Now the battle was on for that second final spot, and it was all resting on the final tricks. Alex Pastor needed something huge, but a 6.5 KGB was not what he was looking for. The Spanish world champion would not be in the finals. It was down to Whaley and Teixeira. Whaley knew he needed to rise to the occasion, and rise he did, a brilliant 8.87 KGB5. That was all he needed. Whaley joins Carlos Mario in the finals. Teixeira still produced a 7.93 kgb5, going out with his head held high, giving the fans a rousing farewell, ready to race another day. In the second Men's Elite League semi-final, there was another outstanding Brazilian, Alex Neto, and he was up against three Dominican riders, POSITO Martinez, Luis Alberto CRUZ, and the Duri Corniel. POSITO Martinez kicked things off with a flourishing 7.83317, quickly setting the pace in Heat 14. But by the second tricks, the other riders started finding their rhythm, and the heat was on. CRUZ, Neto, and Corniel all produced one high-scoring trick after the next in a very tightly fought heat. But it was a splendid 8.23 Slim 7 that shook things up and shot CRUZ up into the lead. While the Martinez and Neto campaigns wavered with two back-to-back crashes each, Duri Corniel kept his cool and his rhythm to seal a 7.43 double heart attack that gave him the edge and moved him past CRUZ to take the helm. And once he was there, he stayed there. POSITO Martinez made a brave comeback effort with an outstanding 8.97 Hinterberger Mob 7, producing the highest score of the heat, but it was not enough to see him through to the final. CRUZ was a tower of consistency in the semis, landing every trick to finish second and join his countryman Duri Corniel in the final. We caught up with WKL CEO Danny Galliard.
Yeah, the whole idea was to get more respect for the riders. What the athletes are doing it's amazing, but there was no really competition structure. So what we did, first of all, we said, okay, we will do single tricks. So we completely changed the whole format, so it's easy to follow for the people, back home. Yeah, I think that it's very important that riders are in control if we talk about the sporting elements of the sport. And this is what we did, and this is how we work together right now. And this is what they feel very comfortable with.
It was all down to four riders for the women's final. Francesca Bagnoli, Paula Novotna, Annabelle van Westerop, and Bruna Kajia. Novotna was the informed rider all week, and all eyes were on her as she went out for her first trick, but she crashed a backside 313 on her first foray, and then suffered another crash, and it would be an uphill battle for the Czech rider on her remaining 5 tricks. Van Westerop got things off on the right foot with a solid 7.23 Espenta blind. The world number 2 shows she means business. The winds started to subside at El Gouna, but world champion Bruna Kajia found enough of it to power through a well-executed backside 313 to score 7.63 and move into the lead right from the get-go. Francesca Bagnoli went out for her second trick, going for a slim, and it was good. 8.17, the Italian sensation is technically spot on as she moves into the lead. Van Westerop rises to the challenge to land a 7.83 back to blind. Bruna Kajia goes for a huge heart attack on her second trick, and she nails it with near perfect execution. 9.39, that raises the bar as the Brazilian ace reclaims the lead. After her 2 opening crashes, Paula Novotna had to produce big points to stay in the running. It's a heart attack, and what a heart attack! 9.03, that's exactly what she needed. Annabelle van Westerop responds with an exceptional 7.9 slim, followed by a 6.9 backside 313 as she takes the lead following an uncharacteristic crash from Bruna Kajia on her 4th trick. Bagnoli goes for a heart attack to score a spectacular 9 points, throwing the final wide open with 3 tricks left. Van Westerop crashes her next 2 tricks, all but extinguishing her hopes with 1 trick left in hand. But Francesca Bagnoli puts a halt to the bad runs with an expert 8.1 Hinterberger Mob, and she is now the main challenger for the title here against Bruna Kajia. It's down to the final tricks. Kazuya knows she needs to rise to the challenge. She goes for a KGB. Her level of riding has been outright excellent here as she produces another gem. She likes it. It's the first KGB in the finals, and what a KGB it was. 9.57. Well-deserved congratulations all around for Kazuya on the beach. Bagnoli is not going to back down. She goes for the same trick as each rider pushes the other to the limit. It's a 9-pointer. But it's not enough to unseat Kazuya, who once again produces a memorable victory. Bruna Kazuya is the winner of the Gouna RRD Center Kiteboarding World Cup Women's Elite League. Runner-up Francesca Bagnoli, what a fight she put up. And third place goes to Annabelle van Westerop.
I prepared myself so much for this moment, and I was really lucky to have Francesca as one of the finalists, and she was riding so good, and she made me push myself even more. And I love that feeling, you know, when you can share the water with really good kiteboarders and be the best that you can be.
In the Men's Elite League final, it would be 2 Dominican riders versus 2 world champions. Luis Alberto CRUZ has beaten Carlos Mario before. Can he do it again? Aduri Corniel has shown everyone what he can do here, proving his path to the final was no fluke. World standings leader Liam Whaley wants to repeat his win in Lecat here in Gouna. But the daunting figure of defending world champion Carlos Mario stands in everyone's way. His unbeaten performance leading up to the finals has been nothing short of spectacular. The men's final is on. First out, it's Luis Alberto CRUZ. He kicks the session off with a 7.67317. But Whaley and Corniel are off to a shaky start, both crashing their first tricks. Carlos Mario goes out and nails a fantastic Heart Attack 7 for a score of 9.3, giving ominous signals to the other riders of what they will be up against here. CRUZ went for a slim 7 on his second outing. Good execution, a little shaky at the end, that might reduce his score. CRUZ's eyes fixed to the screen, waiting for his score, 7.57. Liam Whaley has to come up with the points now, and he rises to the occasion, producing a very good 317 for a score of 8.3. Aduri Corniel also has to start laying down the big points if he wants to keep up with these guys. He goes for a double Heart Attack, a decent score, 7.63. Carlos Mario is not packing any punches, however, and he is laying down the law with back-to-back 9.2 scores on a KGB 7 and a 319. He is in the zone. At this stage, only Aduri Corniel looks like a possible challenger to Carlos Mario as he nails down 2 gorgeous tricks in a row, an 8.83 on a backside 317, followed by an 8.8 on a slim 7. But if any of them are expecting the Mario storm to subside, they are mistaken. The defending world champion hasn't scored below 9 so far, and on his 4th trick, he produces his biggest score yet with a near-perfect 9.87 off a Hinterberger Mob 9. This is starting to look like a romp. Whaley comes up with a do-or-die 8.63 off a Heart Attack 5, just trying to stay in contention at this point. Luis Alberto CRUZ's consistency is impressive, but unless he can get the really big points from here on out, it's curtains for him too. He goes hard and goes big. Oh, that goes wrong for him. Big crash. He's checking his ribs. It looks painful. His countryman, Aduri Corniel, rushing to his side. The ambulance arrives and CRUZ is taken to the hospital. He got his 4 tricks in, and with those points, he may have a shot at the podium yet. Let's hope he recovers quickly. Back to the heat. Back-to-back crashes on tricks 5 and 6 for Liam Whaley means his chances for a podium have vanished. Tough final for the young Spaniard. Corniel is the only man left who has any chance of challenging Mario, and although his 7.97 off a 317 is good, it's not enough for a win, but he does move up into second position. The man of the hour is Carlos Mario. This is his final. A backside 319 is a rare trick to see, and not many riders have the nerve or the skill to try it. But Carlos Mario is not just any rider. There it is. Unbelievable. The crowd can't believe it. It's a perfect 10.
There he is. Perfect 10. The crowd can't believe it. It has to be a 10.
Whaley and Corniel finish off with 2 good tricks, trying to at least give the spectators a farewell show, but all eyes are on Mario to see what he will do on his final trick now that the title is guaranteed. It's amazing and incredibly executed Hinterberger Mob 7, and believe it or not, it's another perfect 10-pointer. You have to watch that again. Carlos Mario is the resounding Men's Elite League winner of the Gouna RRD Center Kiteboarding World Cup 2017. What a performance from him throughout this event, and what a finish in that final with 2 perfect 10s and no trick below 9 points, a superhuman feat. Corniel is a well-deserved runner-up, and Luis Alberto CRUZ still manages a 3rd place despite laying down just 4 tricks.
Então, acho que eu fiz das melhores baterias que eu já fiz, assim. Até eu mesmo fiquei impressionado comigo.
I've been putting in a great performance all week, especially today. I really didn't expect this level of riding, and to get double 10 scores in this heat was just unbelievable. I trained a lot before the event to get to this point, and to be here today, winning this event in Egypt, I couldn't be happier. I thank everyone who supported me, and I hope to keep up the good form.
A Deus e a todo mundo que está sempre me ajudando e as pessoas que estão sempre do meu lado me apoiando.
That concludes a brilliant Gouna RRD Center Kiteboarding World Cup 2017. See you in Brazil for the final round of the World Kiteboarding League 2017 season.